So we are here today in a 2014 Chevy Malibu. This is the system that has the MyLink built in, but no navigation from the factory. So as you can notice, there's no control panel button for nav. There's not a destination button, anything here. It's just a standard typical MyLink system that comes in most of these 14 vehicles now. We're going to be adding the factory navigation to this vehicle. So the way we're going to do it, there's a couple of options we offer here. This is option number one. We'll discuss that later, and as far as pricing and everything goes, there'll be a number at the end of the video. You'll be able to call for information and pricing and whatnot. This is option number one. So there was right now currently not a navigation icon on the screen. What we're going to give the vehicle is a full-blown GM nav with the navigation icon right on the screen there. Destination icon, everything will show up here shortly. So I'm going to get started tearing this apart. This is just a before video to show what the car actually already has in it. No navigation. We'll be adding navigation to this vehicle. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here in the Malibu to get started with the install is we're going to have to remove this trim ring around the bezel here for the radios. So you're going to get a plastic trim tool remover and kind of start down here or wherever you can get it kind of in at the start, and you're just going to work this silver piece off as so. It's just one ring around the radio. So pretty much comes off just like so. That's going to expose. Alright, so now that we've got the trim ring out of the way, that will expose our 7mm bolts here behind the screen to remove the screen. There's also a couple here for this control panel piece, and then for the HVAC controls there's a couple of 7s here that are hidden. You are going to have to open up this side piece trim here a little bit, fold this back, I'll show you here in a second, and the piece here around the shifter column as well, as all this is going to have to come out as well. There's a couple of 7s that are back here hidden that we're going to have to expose first before we can remove any of these panels. So let me grab a couple more tools and I'll be back here to show you that. Alright, so next, after we've got everything ready here, what we're going to do, this piece here in the center console has to come up around the gear shifter. So first thing you're going to want to do is get your trim tool remover in here and pry up against this chrome bezel. And that'll actually let this guy pop loose from the main trim ring itself. And then you're going to come in here under the armrest and kind of get a corner of it here and start it right there. And work this up a little bit in the back. Now this e-brake boot is attached to this console area here, so be real careful when you're lifting all this up. You're not going to damage your boot or whatever. I like to pull the brake up so you have a little bit extra room to work here. So what we're going to do, underneath here there's actually a electrical connector here, and there's one on the front of this shifter. It's really kind of hard to see, but what we need to do is actually release this connector here, and then there's a little small connector here on the front here I'm going to be releasing. Once I get these released, I'm actually going to grab the shift knob and lift straight up on it. It will pop loose and release. So I'm going to grab a flashlight and show you actually how we do that here in just a second. What I did on this particular model, this one actually has the push button start. I had to actually start the vehicle, put my foot on the brake, pull it down into drive so that we can actually access this little plug here. I don't know if you can see here, that plug right there is the one actually that works the button on top of the shifter for your gear up and down manual shift. You have to be careful doing this install when you're pulling this thing apart, not to just snatch out the gear shift knob, because these little wires running through that plug will come off in your hand. So you need to release this plug with a pick. There's a little tab in the corner that locks it together up in the upper right corner. Once we release that, I'll show you how we get the knob out of our way. So I just used a pick like I stated once before. There's a locking tab here in the upper right of this plug. You're just going to be pushing in a button here, and this little connector will release. And once you release that one and the one here for the lighting on the console, you will actually be able to grab your shifter knob and place it back into park. And once you place it back into park, then you're going to be able to grab it with one hand and lift straight up on it. I'll show you here how it kind of unsnaps. Just like so. So that's what I was saying, that connector here, if you're not careful and go snatching on things, you will pull these wires out. Make sure you release this plug before doing this step. Once that's out of your way, your center console piece can kind of slide back a little bit, and that's going to give you access to the remaining bolts and everything you're going to need to take out this control panel Like I stated before, there's a few bolts that are actually hidden down behind here. So once I get all this off, I'll come back with another video showing you those bolts and how to remove the actual control panel here. So now what I did was basically got our trim panel piece here and lifted it up and off the center of the shifter stick here and just kind of laid it over in the passenger seat. Everything's still connected, the e-brake and all still there. You just want to kind of get it out of your way because there are two 7mm bolts here holding this lower control panel piece on, and there's a couple up higher here and these here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the 7mm and a drill here, and I'm going to go ahead and remove these three control panels, and that's going to allow us to see the radio brain behind the dash we're going to be working with. So the bottom four 7mm bolts I went ahead and removed. There are three plugs behind there. Once you remove your control panel piece there, you're just going to unclick your plugs. That's going to allow you to remove also this one here, one up top on each side here. You're not going to want to unplug anything with the key switch or anything turned on. I'm just kind of doing this video showing, so you can get a little better view of the lighting of the panels and whatnot. Just make sure when you're unplugging these panels, your car is actually off, or you will throw an error message or a check engine light code. So basically, now that we've got those four bolts out of there, only thing left to do is actually grab the panel here, and it's just clicked in the dash. So it's a little snap that just if you kind of gently pull on it, it will release, and that'll allow you to remove that control panel. And the same thing here with the one underneath the screen. You're going to want to raise your screen up there. Alright. So before I go disconnecting anything, I'm going to kill power here to the switch. But obviously, there's one plug here, two plugs here. And you're going to take out these four 7mm bolts around the radio there. Once you get those guys out, that's pretty much it for the process of tearing this car apart. So we will be back. So we were back here in the Malibu after reassembling everything and putting it all back together in the reverse order there. We went ahead and reassembled the console piece, and this is pretty much how it's going to turn out. Same look as before. Like I said, this is option number one. We did not change any control panels or anything there. We can discuss that further with you in other parts of other videos. This is option number one of a couple of options we offer. So I'm going to go ahead and fire this up for you and let you see exactly how it works. Like I said, you still retain the factory MyLink features. We'll let this load up here for just a second. You'll see the Chevy MyLink symbol come back on. So now if you notice, whenever this fires up and we get to our home screen, I can actually show you here, there's an actual navigation icon. You're just going to click on the navigation icon. Navigation is going to load. We just plugged this in and it's just getting a signal still, so this may take just a second the first time to load up. There it is actually there for us. So it's already locked on to my GPS location. As you can see, the screen is actually not flickering like that here in the car. This is actually just my camera, just so you're aware. The screen is actually fine in the vehicle. It's locked onto us, and there's our navigation screen. We can go back and hit home. And as you can see, we also still have all the current MyLink icons. If you go over here, you pick up the icon for destinations. You can go right there, and address entry, points of interest entry, pretty much everything. This is factory navigation. This is not an add-on piece. This is not an aftermarket piece. This is GM factory navigation. So it's pretty simple to use, straightforward. You can once again rearrange all of these icons. You can actually move this icon to the first page with the nav icon, so you can pretty much customize your home pages here with this MyLink system. Your owner's manual will talk about that to make this easier to access for you. One other thing that also is nice about our system is the button here on the steering wheel.
Please say a command.
Navigation.
Please say a navigation command, or say help.
Help.
To enter a destination, please say one of the following: address, directed address, intersection, point of interest, home, contact, goodbye.
So as you can see, the navigation system we installed in this vehicle is actually working with the voice recognition capabilities of the vehicle. So not only can you use the icon on the screen, but you can actually use your steering wheel button while you're driving or whatnot and actually enter in addresses into the vehicle there without even touching the screen at all. So it's pretty good technology, pretty good stuff here. Like I said, this is one of the options we offer for adding navigation to the 14 Malibu. I believe this will also work on years back. I will have a phone number at the end of the video here for more information or comments or questions. You can give us a shout at the end of the number at the end of the video. There'll also be an email address. You can email us for more information. So pretty good. This is once again a 2014 Malibu. We just integrated the factory navigation into. Shows you your weather, full-blown navigation here, all the MyLink features, Bluetooth streaming, even show you fuel prices. Really helpful if you're going on trips out of town or whatnot. Good stuff, good technology. So for more information, give us a shout at the end of the video.